So have you guys noticed that Somalia seems to be going down the Afghanistan path? I use that comparison very directly. Somalia and Afghanistan are entirely different countries, entirely different histories, but they have one really bad guy in common. That is George W. Bush. Afghanistan was rightly seen as the sort of condemnation or ridiculous conclusion in failure of the war on terror, but the war on terror is very much still ongoing, and Somalia is actually providing yet another example of what a incredible misbegotten mess that whole thing was. Um, Much more famously, much more better known, George W. Bush invaded Afghanistan in 2001 and set the country on a 20-year trajectory of pointless violence that ended in complete U.S. failure. What is less appreciated, I think, because there were nowhere near as many permanent U.S. troops on the ground, is that George W. Bush did the same thing in Ethiopia in 2006. In Somalia in 2006. He used Ethiopian troops instead of U.S. troops in this event. And it was a country that was it was finally emerging from chaos under a government that was not, in fact, like international jihadist, but was more fundamentally Islamic than the George W. Bush administration wanted. So they sent the Ethiopians in there with a lot of U.S. Air Force support to destroy that government, giving rise to Al Shabaab. If he had not done that back in 2006, there's a chance that actually Somalia could have continued as a unified country. Now, almost 20 years later, we're seeing Somaliland seems to mostly be independent. Puntland is getting that way as well, and the government, that we've supported, or at least the latest iteration of the governments we've been supporting in Mogadishu, might actually lose everything that's left of Somalia to Al Shabaab, to the jihadi terrorist group that we created by invading and destroying the Somali government in 2006. So the parallels between Afghanistan and Somalia are very, very strong, actually. But nobody's really talking about what an incredible U.S. failure this represents, because there just aren't that many U.S. soldiers involved, other than special forces and Air Force type stuff.